Y'all, I don't know who watched Charlie Kirk's memorial yesterday. I know it was really, really long. Maybe you don't have the patience for that. I watched the whole thing. I thought it was great. There were a couple of cringy moments by some people in there, but you know, you're going to have that when you have that many people speaking. A lot of people spoke. And if y'all thought that it was over, it didn't start until like 11:30 Arizona time. So I forget what time that was over here, but I thought it was over because it was just music and people walking around, but it actually didn't start until after I joined, and it was quite moving. I'll say myself. Maybe you didn't watch it if you're not like a Christian, because there was a lot of like Christianity type of conversation and speeches in there, and pretty much all of them, a lot of prayer and stuff. Um, I don't, Erica Kirk. I was not expecting this. I don't think anyone was really expecting this. Erica Kirk vocally forgave the murderer, which I don't think that I could do necessarily. Donald Trump came on afterward and said he hates his enemies and he wants to destroy them. I don't think he should have said that, but we all know that he has loose lips and he does. That's not what that means. We all know that he says crazy shit sometimes. We all know that, and he doesn't necessarily think about the consequences or understand what's going to go through other people's minds when he says those kind of things. So maybe he shouldn't be saying that. But I think that the Democrats are absolutely horrified because of the number of people that were watching the memorial and their ratings. And I have Hakeem Jeffries on camera literally threatening to use the DOJ against anyone who's basically supporting Trump. I really don't understand what exactly he's meaning by this. He's a demon, and he also says things that he shouldn't say, but he's being intentional. He's intentionally trying to scare people into voting for Democrats and making them think that we're evil people and we don't deserve to be humanized or treated like humans and our lives don't matter. That's exactly what they're doing because they're so terrified that they are never going to win an election again. So here we have Breitbart reporting Charlie Kirk producer Andrew Colvett claims Memorial had 100 million overall streams. 100 million. And I saw all before they started turning the comments off, which they should have known better in the first place. They had the comments turned on and there were all kinds of demons in the comments. Who the hell takes the time out of their day? There were people literally staying in there arguing with everyone. Who the hell takes the time out of their day to go into a comment section for a memorial service for a man who died 2 weeks ago that you don't know anything about? And you shouldn't, if you don't like him, then you shouldn't care. Like, you shouldn't care enough to go on here and interrupt a memorial service, basically. These people are satanic. These are demons. They don't think of us as humans. They might as well be Islamists because they don't either. They might as well be the bad people that don't like the Jews. You know who I'm talking about. So Andrew Colvett, executive producer for the Charlie Kirk Show, said the memorial honoring the slain conservative activist saw 100 million overall streams. The streaming partners tracked over 100 million. It was streaming on all different platforms. And I looked at a few of them to see like how many people are watching this. I just looked at a few and got to over 500,000 just on like 3 different streams. I was watching it from Turning Point USA. So there's his little post there. So that's quite a big turnout, and that's not all the people that supported Charlie Kirk either. Like I said, if you're not really a Christian, you're not into church or anything like that or prayers, then you probably didn't watch it, or you probably watched a little bit of it and then got off of it. But there's a lot of people also that didn't really feel that it was necessary for them to watch it. So that's not all of Charlie Kirk's supporters, but 100 million people, that's kind of crazy. That is crazy. That's why they're terrified. So Hakeem Jeffries is literally threatening that if he says the statute of limitations is only 5 years. So he's like pretty much thinking that they're definitely going to win the next election. And of course, they say that they think that they're definitely going to win in the midterms next year. as long as they keep on making everyone hate us. But more and more people are waking up to the fact that these are liars. These are demons. This is a demon right here. People are waking up to the fact that they're evil. They celebrate death. They hate innocent people. They want to commit political violence, although they won't say that, but they'll say everything else but that. So here he is literally threatening to weaponize the Department of Justice as if they didn't already do that.
One thing to understand, as people who are flirting with the Trump administration or doing the bidding of the Trump administration.
What does that mean? People flirting with the Trump administration. Does that mean anyone that actually like approves of what they're doing? Does that mean anyone that thinks with a conservative mindset? Does that mean people in the FBI and the DOJ that are now going after people that actually did what he's claiming that we're doing? Interesting. The gaslighting continues.
Administration or engaging in the pay-to-play schemes of the Trump administration. The statute of limitations is 5 years. Donald Trump and this toxic administration will be long gone, but there will still be accountability to be had. And that process, of course, begins now, but it will not be complete until perhaps there is an independent Department of Justice, certainly an independent House of Representatives in Democratic hands. The Department of Justice is one of the great institutions in law enforcement in the history of this country, and Donald Trump and these extremists have been destroying its integrity.
How exactly do you have an independent Democrat-led DOJ, but it's independent, but it's Democrat-led? What does that even mean? What does that even mean, dude? He's not even making sense. And he's literally saying that if Democrats get back in power, they are going to weaponize the DOJ to go after Trump supporters. That's what I get out of this. Not just people that are going after others for breaking the law or firing FBI for not doing their jobs or politicizing their jobs. Not like the whole Letitia James thing where there's actual evidence that she committed mortgage fraud. And the other woman that's in the Fed who we also had proof, and then they dropped the charges and didn't fire her. That's interesting. I've been meaning to talk about that, but I don't know if you guys would really be interested in all of that. Let me know. But he's literally saying he's going to come after people who work with the Trump administration and help them accomplish their goals. And here's why he's so scared.
What do you think?
Yeah, what are we seeing? You know, Donald Trump being underwater, Democrats saying, oh, this guarantees us we're going to fly high in the midterms. Let me tell you, this guarantees you nothing, because at this particular point, the Democrats are the New Orleans Saints of political parties. What are we talking about? Trust the Dems or GOP more on the economy? Who leads on the economy? Republicans by 7. Immigration, Republicans by 13. How about crime, a big issue for Donald Trump and the Republicans? Look at that, lead by 22 points. So the bottom line is this. At this particular point, the ball may be on the ground, but the Democrats have not picked up the ball and running with it. If anything, at this particular point, it's the Republicans who are running with the ball on the top issues, the economy, immigration, and crime.
Give some context on this. Compare this when Republicans last took the House.
Yeah, let's compare it back to 2022. I think this kind of gives away the game right here. Okay, the GOP is more trusted than the Dems on the economy. It was 12 points in 2022. Slight decline in that lead, but still 7 points. How about immigration? It was Republicans by 3 back in 2022. Look at this. The Republican lead's actually gone up by 10 points. What are you doing, Democrats? My goodness gracious. And on crime, the Republicans were up by 13, and now they're up by 22. The lead, again, expanding by nearly double digits. So whatever Democrats are doing, it ain't working, Kate. It ain't working. Republicans have the lead on all 3 issues.
It ain't working. All the hateful rhetoric that they spew, all of the threats that they give, all of the violence that they commit, they think it's going to help them. I don't really understand why. They obviously don't have any faith or hope in humanity, and they think that everyone's just as evil as they are, but they're not. There are good people in this world, and there are good people on both sides. So there's a lot of people on the Democrat side that are actually becoming Republicans because of everything that they're doing, because of their plan. Their plan is completely backfiring on them. And this is CNN saying this, okay? So the CNN is obviously not a fan of Republicans. So if CNN's polls are showing this, we know they're not cooking any polls. We know they probably don't even want to report this. Maybe this guy does because he seems a little excited about it. But plus 22 points on crime, that is obvious because they want to keep their criminal. They're literally people protesting in the streets to prevent the National Guard from coming into the most dangerous cities in our country and arresting criminals and getting illegally owned guns off the streets. They're literally protesting against the National Guard coming in and saving people, including children, from getting shot in drive-by shootings. Brandon Johnson, Chicago. What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? I hope Chicago does flip red. I hope that organization is very successful. I love watching them on there tearing him apart, cussing his ass out. It's fun to watch. So regarding Hakeem Jeffries and how he's claiming that the Trump administration is weaponizing the DOJ while he's simultaneously stating that his side is going to weaponize the DOJ against political enemies and anyone who helps Trump become be successful. Well, this little gem was dug up recently and declassified. Chuck Grassley, I think is his name, recently brought this to the floor and is exposing this whole operation called Arctic Frost. Let's get into what Arctic Frost is a little bit. Speaking of weaponizing the DOJ against your political enemies, Arctic Frost is the code name for an FBI investigation opened in April 2022. It was initially focused on efforts connected to overturning or challenging the results of the 2020 U.S. presidential election. So they were originally claiming to open this operation in order to see if, in order to get to the bottom of claims that the election was stolen, and I guess maybe prove that it wasn't, but they used it to try and charge Donald Trump with crimes. Do we remember what happened after 2016 and how Hillary Clinton went on her big tour rant about how Russia helped Donald Trump win the election? He was an illegitimate president, and she still says that to this day, and that the election was stolen from her. Who investigated her over that? Who took her to court over that? Nobody. 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 So, it was initially focused on efforts connected to, I already read that. In November 2022, Jack Smith, then special counsel, was assigned to take over, and speaking of unqualified, Jack Smith was not qualified to be special counsel, just by the way. He was assigned to take over some parts of what Arctic Frost had become. Key allegations. The investigation expanded over time beyond just individuals tied to claims of election fraud. It reportedly included numerous Republican-aligned organizations and individuals, including Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk's organization, the Republican National Committee, the Republican Attorneys General Association. Can't turn my head fast enough. Others like Trump PACs, fundraising committees, etc. There are whistleblower disclosures and emails cited by Republicans alleging that the case was politicized, that it was broader than necessary, and that procedures for opening the investigation may have been violated, aka illegal. Whether the things that are disputed are unclear. Whether the investigation's expansion to these organizations was legally justified, or whether it improperly targeted political opponents. I think we all know the answer to that. Republicans allege weaponization of law enforcement. Surprise, surprise. The specific reasons some groups were included, what evidence, what predication are in dispute or not public in full. Why? Why were you going after these organizations? Why? There was no... This is the same thing that they did to Donald Trump exclusively. Instead of having a crime presented to you and investigating the crime that was presented to you, they pick a person and go and try to figure out if they can make a crime out of something that was never brought to them in the first place. That's not how the Department of Justice is supposed to work. So Senator Chuck Grassley has released whistleblower documents and made oversight hearings about the case. There's public scrutiny over whether the FBI and DOJ acted appropriately, calls from some Republicans for accountability. Yeah, people need to be investigated and fired. So I think that the Democrats are extremely terrified right now, and that's why they're reacting the way that they are. But it's so crazy that they don't understand that what they're doing is actually the opposite of what they should be doing. They should actually be cooperating with the Trump administration, not literally voting against every single thing that we put up, not talking shit about Charlie Kirk on public television. Maybe keep your thoughts to yourself, and spewing this hateful rhetoric, telling people to take to the streets, take up arms. Literally Democrat politicians are on camera saying that. What did they think was going to happen? And how do they think that this is going to go? It's not helpful to them, but oh well, just keep on doing it, I guess, because it's working for us. So tell me in the comments, what do you guys think about all this? Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any content. It is free, by the way. And share this video with your family and friends to help grow the channel. And I will see you on the next one.